I'll leave you guys with the Greninja Band. Enjoy.
Thanks, and I'm not too sure if I'm happy about this Greninja ban. Whether this is actually serious or not, I don't know. What are your thoughts, Dupe?
Off the rip, I think somebody's just kind of sleeping at the wheel. But I've been wrong
And it's
before,
not me.
and I'm more than happy to be wrong again. I mean, maybe there's a soul read here. I don't particularly believe in that. But Rework Respawn getting this first pick, we'll see what they equip themselves with. Is we've seen some pretty standard bans across the rest of the way here. Mimikyu, Slowbro, Hoopa, of course. And Umbreon, unsurprising, locked in. Because across the way from them on OJ is Zugrug, one of the best Umbreons moving right now.
Yeah, you've got to take that away from them. So it'll be really interesting to see what lock-ins we have on the side. Oh, see a Miraidon? No, they're going to go over to a Cinderace pick. I guess Flareon's is just really trying to decide which attacker they want to fall onto. It ends up being the bird with the fish in the mouth, Cramorant.
Yeah, Cramorant, what a glow up it's gotten since it's gotten all its bug fixes, right? And its moves gassed up a little bit. I mean, it's been everywhere and it looks phenomenal. Meanwhile, we're taking a quick look at Rework Respawn. Hitman quickly going to the Espeon. Looks like we might get a Leafeon lock. No, Eldegoss lock. But that Leafeon has been incredibly impressive, especially what we just saw in the hands of Gatlu. So it's got to be on their radar for sure.
Well, considering the team didn't end up picking Leafeon up for themselves, Kratos is hovering over it. Whether we're going to end up getting baited again, yeah, we are. Instead, they have opted for a different speedster, being that of Zoroark, and we've seen some incredible Zoroark games today. However, Reggie, knowing they have a Zoroark, are they going to lock in that comfort that they were hovering over, or maybe a speedster of their own?
I don't feel like they're going to go into the direction of Comfy right now, right? You pick the Eldegoss, maybe trying to bait it back across the other way, right? It's a Gengar. I know someone just popped off watching the stream right now. A Gengar has been officially locked in. That is a green check mark, Killo.
That isn't the only ghost we are going to see during this match. We're also going to see the Aegislash being picked on up as well. So double ghost comp here. The rainbow comp on either side as well, locking in one of each role.
Listen, that is exactly what we are looking for here. Just, you know, the Roy G. Biv of these Pokemon Unite compositions. Gengar's been locked, and we're in the losers finals of a big event. I mean, these teams have been playing for a long time, and they decided to put their eggs into the Gengar basket.
I mean, you know, you talk about balanced teams. Is this the true balance that you need? Or one defender, supporter, speedster, attacker, and all-rounder? I guess it's interesting to see this compositions where normally we'll see like a double defender. I mean, we've even seen a double speedster comp today. But I guess, you know, all is on the line considering this is the lower bracket. However, it is that first match. But I guess looking at this team composition here, I am a little bit worried for this Gengar and Aegislash considering they do have that 3-tier evolution. They only have that one 3-tier evolution on the side of OJ's, being that of the Blaziken.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be that big of a hurdle. The big hurdle for me is this Gengar. There is some good targets on the side of OJ, but if they aren't hitting those targets and closing the door on those individuals, it's going to be a tough time. I mean, there's a reason Gengar hasn't really been picked in the competitive scene. So, you know, hold your breath, folks. Rework Respawn, putting it on the ghost type to get it done.
Here we go. First match of the lower bracket finals. Rework, Respawn, and Orange Juices are both going to send those speedsters into that central area. You do have that Gossifleur going and helping out that Ghastly. I guess, you know, Ghastly early game, it can't really do a lot.
Can't do much, but it does have that really cool, like, lick pull, which is not nothing, which if it was in lane, I guess that would be a little bit more relevant. But Gossifleur just making sure that the invasion doesn't happen too quickly. Espeon pressuring back the other way. That is a Shedinjadal popped out of, I think that's the Han Edge. Not quite Aegislash yet, of course.
However, we still don't have a Zoroark online. Thankfully, they do have some bag of Bunnelbees that were left for them. Gonna lock in this Boltor. However, this is going to give the opportunity for Rework Respawn to come on in and empty out their pockets.
Well, Zorak has hit their mark, and they feign attack in. Quite get their target, but there's 4 players moving for rework respawn, and some low evolutions on the side of the Juicers. Maybe not expecting this top path pressure in the form of 4 players, and they kind of got away with one. Scored a decent amount of points and got all the experience in the middle.
We've actually seen this quite a fair bit. It's the 4-person push on either side, leaving the defenders down in that bottom path. However, Zorak isn't going to delay, going to soak up their buffs. That way, there is no threat of an invade. Rework Respawn, they have a different thing on their mind, looking to potentially dunk in some extra AOS energy. However, Snorlax and Kremmer are doing a great job of defending that.
Yeah, great pivot by Zorak, too. We actually saw them move down and then move back up as Espeon is able to sort out Flareons on that Cramorant. Of course, Hitman acting like a Hitman and putting one through their forehead.
As we pivot up into the top path, dunks end up getting denied by that sword. However, Zorak was able to dodge that and get in some dunks of their own, being able to take down that Doublade and dunk in some more points for their attack weight.
Well, we're trying to eat on some nightmares here as they're chasing down this Blissey. Reggie wants this knockout, and they're getting taken for a ride by Roland. Roland sees that there's a double blade right there to cut them off. And they finally close out the KO. Oh, man, they need to. Double blade sorts it out, and that is a breath of fresh air.
However, Espeon has popped their Unite move, not able to pick the KO up on that Cramorant, so they're not going to actually have this for the objective spawns.
A pretty good job by Hitman in a 2v1 situation, putting good pressure on Flareons, buying time. Aegislash is here. They actually get the KO there, and now it's just Snorlax hanging out, watching Pad as it's the 2 versus 1 the other way. Still nobody interested in this basement objective yet as the Machisler rolls up top. Blaziken's already chipping in the Regieleki. We're trying to square up for a fight. We've got the Egg Bomb on the Umbreon. Umbreon's right in there, snarling all over him. Can't get it done. Secured is the Registeel downstairs. And now Rework Respawn might be able to make a push. They're looking for a target. Blaziken's charged up. We're in a mean look as well. But Gengar Blender is here. KO goes down. Regieleki finally getting focused on by Machisel. Converts on the Umbreon. We got 2 down for Rework Respawn. And OJ coming to life.
That was a great turnaround from that Zorak, knowing that those members were on such low HP, an attempt to try and break this goal. However, Minato is putting in the work by denying that Zorak from getting in that big dunk.
Look at this. Umbreon going back through Machisel, sitting on top of Regieleki a little bit. Getting split off is Roland, and Roland is going to eat just a quick little Shadow Ball here. We'll see if we can get a KO. Aegislash gets 2 the other way. We see that off screen as Roland is closed out, but this Regieleki is still standing. These teams have been prioritizing top, but this objective has stayed up for a long, long time, Kello.
Yeah, while this objective has stayed on up, we can see there is that Registeel buff around Minato there. So able to secure both of those objectives for their side. Now that's going to create pressure, and Orange Juicers don't want to let this crash on in. Considering it's left at 24 points, that's going to leave 4 points on and that potential for a massive overcap. However, they're going to deal with it. Rework Respawn are aware of this. Instead, they're going to go and pivot all of their efforts elsewhere on the map.
Yeah, that's pretty reasonable, right? Look for an opportunity somewhere else. Obviously OJ is putting the pressure on that Regieleki to make sure it can't hit, and that's what they're doing. They're just buying time. They're surveying the situation, and this scoreline is only separated by, 27 points, if my math is right. So there's a lot for these teams to scrap for, and the second basement Reggie is already up.
Yeah, but looking at the levels, we have 3 level 11s on the side of Rework Respawn. They have that positioning, only leaving this Snorlax, who has popped up their block, however, ends up getting caught out in the mean look. Nowhere to run, and it is going to stop that heavy slam. We're going to have a little bit of an engage, just popping out those moves, seeing if they can catch anyone unawares.
Well, Zugrog knows that the Gengar's close. Gengar looks into the back line. They get on top of the Blissey. Can they convert? No, they're kind of getting blocked away from the rest of the team here. And now they have to use their Unite move just to get out. Is there a target that they can underground swim to? Zugrog's taking a ton of damage. They get popped by the Gengar. Is the next one on the chopping block? No, the Zoroark uses their Unite move. And the Cramorant pops theirs as well. And now we're just firing at all the targets. And the Cowboy Cram, getting the wanted signs just ripped down. Orange Juicers take the second basement, Reggie, and are looking to get a score lead going for themselves too.
This is why I love Cramorant, just the Unite move to go and create that space. However, they do end up diving a little bit too far into that flux zone, get caught on out, as we do have Orange Juices continuing to fall on down. Snorlax just taking a quick nap before going and defending this pad. However, can they even stop it?
I mean, Aegislash is already all over the Zoroark. They have to feint attack away, actually, as now they're trying to get their points in back. Nice little Hurricane out of Cram to stall all those scores, but the Gengar finds another one. Zoroark is down, moving through. The Sword is chopping them up like they're on an episode of Top Chef. We're in the back line. Espeon gets credit for 2. We're still moving forward. Blaziken looking for the cutoff here. Kratos gets buckled by the Gengar. Listen, that Gengar might be a ghost, but it's wearing a Proton Pack. It's got Egon Spangler's glasses on, and that ghost is busting right now.
Oh my gosh, that was a great push from Rework Respawn. The fact that none of their members ended up going down, being able to break down that goal, it is 199 to 123. I mean, Orange Juices, they're not too far behind considering they do have this level 13 Zoroark on their side. But there is still the question of this Regieleki up in this top path. Now, we have seen this a lot from Minato today. Just going in and getting those sneaky back caps wherever they are. Just such aggressive plays here from this Eldegoss.
Absolutely. Listen, Rework Respawn did great work downstairs. They pivot back. They're insulating themselves. They've got the point lead. They give up the Regieleki, and this is going to be a safe catch situation. What they don't want happening, though, is OJ doing a big map pivot and smashing through their bot path here. It looks like OJ is actually going to react to wherever Rework Respawn is and see if they can get a couple catches. And then Machisler's in the back line. We've got a Rayquaza that just hit the map, but they can't find a premium target, while Kratos is going to get 88 downstairs and put them just shy of the point lead.
290 to 211. However, this is going to bring it to a close game. Machisel, aware of this, they are going to go and start the Rayquaza. However, they're not going to commit as they still have to try and deal with the rest of the members of Rework Respawn here.
ABC, the first one to take a ton of damage. The Umbreon's there. Machisel gets popped up by, I believe, like a Cotton Spore pop. They catch the Bliss Assistance in the middle and trying to get out his Gengar. They use their Unite move again as a retreating tool. Right into the middle, Umbreon pops their Unite move. They're looking for a target. Can they get into the back line? Oh, man, Roland is able to get just enough space. Zugrog is completely separated for the team, but everybody on OJ is still standing. They bought enough time for Flareons to come back into the mix and put some real pressure on. Rayquaza is getting ripped. It's about 15%. Who's going to close the door on it? Machisel just hanging out looking for an engagement in, but they need a secure tool taken by Espeon. Great little move there. Cram Unite is out. They're going to try and rip some shields down, but Eldegoss makes it out with theirs, but only carrying 15 points. Hitman, on the other hand, got a full burger on their plate.
Yeah, they're looking to go and dunk this, trying to get the Psyshock. However, they do end up missing the Blissey. But nonetheless, Orange Juices are going to go in with that surrender. I mean, it was really interesting there from Machisel on the Zoroark. You could see them just lurking about that top side of the Rayquaza as Rework Respawn were shredding down that Rayquaza. They still had their Unite move on hand, and I think they were going in for that play of, I'm going to dash on in and hope that I can Unite move steal. However, things did not go in their favor at all. Gengar is not a Pokemon we see very often, but the fact that Reggie was able to pick up 11 KOs, 82k damage as well.
Yeah, like I said when we were loading in, right, Gengar theoretically has some solid targets on the other side, and Reggie was finding them. That's what's Rework Respawn banning Greninja. So if that was a mispick, they might actually have themselves a real draft on their hands. We'll see what happens.
I guess it was just one of those picks that didn't really mean a lot to them. Interesting, we didn't actually see a Leafeon pick the previous match, so whether we're actually going to end up seeing this evolution come out into play. But two very popular picks of the day, the Slowbro and the Mimikyu locked on in, and two supporters taken off the map as well.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to put us in the direction, of course, like, we just saw Clefable pop up for a second. Eldegoss is going to be at a premium now as well. Like, that's just incredibly good. But it also might be an attempt at by Orange Juicers to force Rework Respawn into a Comfy scenario, and then it's just like a quantity that you know how to deal with.
But we can see Hitman that is hovering over this Alolan Ninetales. They have been playing Cramorant quite a fair bit, but instead they are going to go in for the last minute switch and taking that Blaziken away from Kratos.
Yeah, and Blaziken has been incredibly good, right? Mentioned by Inder before, every team that won in the previous best of 3 that involved Rework, Respawn, and Nouns had the Blaziken on their team. And bang, actually banning out the supporters so that Orange Juicers can go in the way of a Zoroark with a Comfy pocket.
And Monato's just going to stick with what they know best, which is going to be that Eldegoss. Once again, still hovering over this Alolan Ninetales, whether they're going to end up locking in. No, they're going to opt for the Sylveon pick here. So whether this is going to end up being that Hyper Voice pick or whether it's going to be that chase down of the Mystical Fire, we'll wait and see. However, Zugrug, hovering over that Trevenant. I always love to see Trevenant out on the field. And I was going to say, is this why we ended up seeing that Greninja ban Flareon's playing it? No, they're gonna go for Cramorant once again.
Yeah, maybe it was just like a tip of the cap, like this is why they maybe banned it, but really you just take Cramorant here, which is incredibly, incredibly strong. Reggie's going to have the last pick of this draft. We'll see where they go. And is it going to be a Gengar game again, Kello? Please be still my heart.
The thing is, fool me once with the Gengar pick. Can they fool them twice with the Gengar pick? I guess looking on into the opposite team comp, yeah, you want to try and dive onto Flareons and onto that Zoroark. However, having that Comfey pocket to possibly get the stuns, I feel like this is going to be a bit of a harder match for Reggie to get the lockdowns, considering, well, they don't have the Aegis/stuns over on their side, nor the Espeon either.
It might just be a reactive pick to Cramorant, I guess, at this point. I mean, that seems like the truly the best target. If you can catch Machizzle without the Comfey on it, you've got a chance. I mean, it does stress Zugrug in a unique way. They're going to have to always be turtling around their, around this Cramorant, around this Zoroark, whereas Zoroark, with its mobility, doesn't necessarily want to be pinned in one spot, so Zugrug can give them the cover. So, I mean, maybe this is just, 18D chess out of Rework Respawn.
Well, we'll just have to wait and see how this match ends up panning out. Now, just a reminder, this is the lower bracket final. So if we do have Rework Respawn being able to take this victory, they will go up and face against Nouns once again. However, maybe we might end up seeing a big turnaround from OJs, considering they have played pretty well today as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. But this is going into game 2. And now they need to win 2 on the hop because Rework Respawn are on the doorstep of going to the grand finals here, the INGAGE Master Series. Quickly is Rolling going to make sure that Machizzle can get up to Zoroark because we know that Zorua struggles in the early game.
Yeah, it struggles along with that Ghastly. So making sure not only, as I said, as you mentioned, the protection for the invades, but also to secure the Gossifleur with the red buff as well. Torchic is able to get themselves attack weight stack and able to use their move to get away from that Phalanx.
Yeah, just barely. That would have been a great KO for Kratos if they could have picked it up. Unfortunately, not willing to play ball right there. Now, we do have a great flank going in, and this is going to be a disaster here for Rework Respawn. Can they just close out the KOs? They let the Gossifleur off the hook. They want the chicken. They put the chicken down, and they ate that thing up. Here's Haunter looking to provide a little bit of cover fire on that pad because we've got some 850 birds about to spawn.
Yeah, we are going to have that 4-person push up in the top path. Hitman is looking to join the party. However, they're going to wait in that tall grass. Those birds end up getting soaked on up. Now, whether the teams are going to end up playing passively or aggressively here, it looks like they're just going in for a bit of a rotation. And I guess Machizzle and the Comfey going in for a bit of an invade while Haunter is distracted down in the bot path.
Yeah, I'm actually stressed out if I'm Rework Respawn because our Gossifleur is still level 3. They need to evolve, and right behind them, going to go on a huge flank, is Machisel and Rolling. They're going to try and get some stacks, and if that goes in, they might evolve here. Finally, the Eldegoss does, but Kratos can put Minotaur in the blender.
As we did have Machisel and the Comfort going with the invade, you do have a bit of an ambush by a Soul Combustion. Oh no, they did have that Haunter by their side. However, they do end up getting out empty-handed.
Yeah, and I'm glad they did get out. However, as a general Combustion hater, the ugliest Pokemon to exist, I wouldn't have minded too much if they got that KO. Still's hitting at level 6, unfortunately still a Combustion, putting the pressure on after using the illusion. Is Machisel still hanging on to Roland, but now they've got Kratos there. Reggie, we're right behind him, going to be able to put some pressure as the Haunter themselves. They go straight for Kratos, who uses their ability to bounce right on out of there, but we are feign attacking onto this squad. Combustion's at half HP. We rage on here. Rework Respawn really have to just turtle up on this goal zone here, Kello.
I think it was more just about creating that pressure, keeping them on that pad, waiting for those birds to spawn. However, we do have that Phalanx falling. Full heal, I believe that was popped by Reggie there, making sure not to succumb to the suppression tools. Blaziken being able to pick up 2 KO streaks, and now this might create enough space for Rework Respawn to take this top base. They deal with Flareons at that Crimorant and push them back all the way to tier 2.
I mean, Blaziken, just so much pressure, right? Was able to dash through the flux zone, actually stop Flareons and Kratos from pushing forward. They close a goal zone. They have a huge lead. And look the confidence that Minotaur's playing with right now. They're on a solo mission, just gathering information, putting themselves in the lion's den in the face of a Zoro with a Comfy, completely unafraid, knowing the rest of Rework Respawn is with them, and they can make some absolute magic happen here. Albergi just moving forward. They're going to sit on top of this Reggie Alecki themselves and just try to put pressure with it on Kratos. Flareons again has to show up, and it's really just this resource exchange that Rework Respawn seems to be winning all over the map, Kello.
I was a little bit worried there for a second. Kratos was about to push in that Reggie Alecki into their home base with the no retreat and Mega Horn. However, as we pivot down into this bot side, Reg Ice was able to be secured by Orange Juice's Machisel. So that is going to give him that little bit of HP regeneration, as Trevenant is going to push all of the Swablos and Altaria over to their side. Meanwhile, Zorok ends up utilizing their Unite move along with Umbreon.
Yeah, forced out, I believe, the tall grass as well, just to make sure that the Zora could stay standing. But Rework Respawn is unfazed. They're moving forward. They all have the Forest Curse mark, but they don't really care. I mean, Zugrug was putting that mean look, and they're able to just easily walk away. And now Reggie's actually moving in parallel with Machisel, making sure that they can't get too froggy into their own central area.
Right, we're almost at that halfway mark. It's 55 to 128. However, looking at the levels, it is quite even. I'd say Orange Juices, while they are behind in points, they definitely have a bit more of a level advantage, considering Eldegoss is still sitting at that level 8.
Yeah, really, really struggling here. However, they're doing a good job given the resource deficiency on the level portion, but still stressing the map incredibly well, as I mentioned. Nice Unite by Kratos to get on top of this goal pad, pick up a KO for themselves on the Eldegoss, really make sure that they aren't getting any far ahead. Of course, Al just moving through. Now they're in the blender between 3 players. They get Hornleech pinned against the wall, popped up, put down. Zorak is there to close the deal, and Rework Respawn still sitting on their own goal pad. Can't quite get an engagement on top of Zorua just yet, but now Rework Respawn's moving with 3. Zugrog is there, so is Flareon's. Pressure going back the other way because Juicers have the levels, Kello.
They have the levels, and they're looking to try and take the point advantage here. However, they end up getting denied by both that Gengar and that Blaziken. No 40 points for Machisel. Instead, they're going to try and take this red buff and run away from the threat, the aggression that Minato's showing right now on this Eldegoss. My oh my.
Yeah, I mean, good adjustment by Minotaur to try and put some counter pressure on what Machisel was trying to do. Locking up Reggie Alecki for Rework Respawn is good. Again, they're still trying to catch up in levels. They're behind just slightly, and putting just general map pressure away from their actual objective is a great way to start that train. Zugrug doing everything they can in the face of a bunch of players, using that big Unite move as well. carrying a bunch of players, grabbing some berries, and they're going to try and close this goal zone in their face. They do. Zugrug just peels back.
Yeah, there's not a lot that Zugrug can do 1v4, even though they ended up popping their Unite move, getting some great shielding, not looking to give them the KO. However, they might end up giving it over as they do get caught out by that mean look. Gengar is going to focus all of their energy on that Reg Ice instead of the fight. However, Zugrug, I have no idea how this guy is still standing.
Yeah, I mean, a great Trevenant player using everything in the kitchen sink to make sure that they can have vision for the team. If, they weren't put in a good mean look, try and get to the objective. Obviously, that didn't happen. But again, it forced Rework Respawn to babysit him in path instead of doing other things that they would like to do, like get this Gengar to level 13, get this Blaziken to level 13.
I mean, looking at the levels, it has definitely evened up across the board. Looking at the points, there's only a 3-point difference between them as we have 30 seconds before this final stretch. So it's just a last-minute scramble, try to get whatever experience to tick on over, as you mentioned, to those necessary level 13 moves.
Yeah, 15 seconds, and Rework Respawn is just going for some positioning, see who they can find right now. We've got Gengar going for what looks like to be a delayed cheeky back cap, just a quick score. Al gets absolutely shoved by Zugrug, forced to eject button out, but this is the Zoroark engage that they're looking for. Immediately, Al goes down, the Blaziken is down, Comfy pops to your night move, so does Zora. They're looking for the next target. ABC is trying to put somebody in a mean look. They can't find the target. We're still dancing all over them. We've got our goofy shoes on, and the Machizzler's looking for it. Umbreon Unite back the other way. Zoroark goes down. Comfy needs to get picked up on another target. Kratos Unite trying to find anybody, trying to put anybody into that blender, into that NutriBullet, but they can't get anyone. Rework Respawn still moving through. Zoroark with a gargantuan KO timer right now, and it's the Gengar show back at it, looking for more targets. Can they find another one? 4 players down for the Juicers. Rework Respawn have reworked the meta into a Gengar show, and now Flareon gets buckled by the Sylveon. This Rayquaza's nothing but free. Zoroark's coming back, and they're not even going to be in on time. Rayquaza's gone, sealed by whoever. Who else but the Blaziken? KO Shrika 2 for Sylveon. Rework Respawn going to the finals.
My golly gosh, what an insane final stretch fight coming from Rework Respawn. Never in this day and age would we see a Gengar win 2 matches in a row. Otherwise, Rework Respawn, they're just going to widen up that gap even further. 180 to 584. There is still 45 seconds left on the clock. However, Rework Respawn, they still have Rayquaza shields on hand.
Yeah, that's all for naught. We're just in garbage time now. We're just moving through. I mean, Orange Juicers are, of course, going to give it the old college try. Doesn't matter. The Machizzler gets gobbled up by the Gengar. We're just looking for stats now. KO Shrika 2. Kratos is upset. They're just saying, we're not even going to try and win. We just want to take down Reggie once, and they still can't. Still putting a chase on them. Reggie's finally going to go down. KO timer of 40 seconds. Cotton Cloud Crash lands on top, and now Kratos is just trying to survive the counterpunch from Rework Respawn, who took that attack on Gengar personally. They're going to put more points in, Kello, and what an absolute showdown we just had in the losers finals.
This is just showing and demonstrating the power of Rework Respawn right now. I'm curious to know where they actually sit on Zoinks' power rankings. However, that means we are going to see ourselves a rematch up in that grand finals. Rework Respawn going up against Nouns once again.
Gengar. Just a Gengar in the hands of a top LATAM team just dispatched the top NA team. Where are we right now, Kello? What is happening in this offseason?
Look, I guess this is a time to experiment, see what works, right? I mean, there is a bit of a risk considering, there is a prize pool. We do have a $500 prize pool up for grabs. So, I mean, we have to bring in our resident